Okay.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today we are doing grilled flank steak and chimichurri sauce. So we're going to go ahead and get started and make our steak rub. This is kind of a standard rub that I make for a lot of stuff. So we're going to do half a teaspoon of cumin. You can do your favorite steak seasoning or taco seasoning on this if you like. I kind of like making up this little rub just because I think it goes good on most everything. So that was cumin first and black pepper now, or second. Now we're going to do some onion powder. We're going to do garlic powder, and I'm just doing equal parts of everything. So rather it be, a teaspoon, tablespoon, half teaspoon, quarter teaspoon, tablespoons. It's whatever you want to measure out, because you can always save it to use for later. I'm doing a half teaspoon so that way I can use it for the steak and then maybe something over the weekend while I eat it. And then, because I'm kind of doing a taco type thing, I'll add some chili powder to this. You can leave it out if you want to, but just salt, pepper, cumin, garlic powder, onion powder. That's going to be a great rub for whether it be chicken, fish, steak, vegetables, pork chops. And then you can add some herbs to that if you like, or you can add some cayenne pepper, chili powder, paprika to it if you want for a little bit of spice. My onion powder is a little chunky because there's a little moisture in the air here, so I gotta break up those chunks. But we got a nice little rub here. Just gonna sprinkle this all over the steak. Making sure if it's kind of folded up, you fold it out so that way you get rub everywhere. This is going to be this is enough steak to feed 2 to 3 people when you add some sides to it. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this guy on the grill, and I will start seasoning up the other side of it. I got a preheated grill pan here. You can do this in a large saute pan. You can do it on your grill outside. If you have an indoor grill on your stove, you can do it on that as well. But this is over about medium high heat. I got the grates on there so you can get some grill marks on it. Just going to slap it on the grill. That's the sound you want to hear. Going to get rid of this cutting board. Give it another little shake of the seasoning. That way you got both sides seasoned up. If you prefer to marinate your steaks, this takes well to marinate. I just kind of like a simple rub on it. So that way it can be good to go pretty quickly and little to no fuss. So our steak's all nice and rubbed down. Now we're going to start working on our chimichurri sauce. It's a Argentinian type sauce that has a lot of fresh herbs in it. Let me grab some tongs real quick. Because you need some tongs to cook your steak. We need to cook that about 3 to 4 minutes per side, depending on how you like your steak done. That should give us a nice medium-ish steak. So we're going to take 1 bunch of parsley and 1 bunch of cilantro and chop them up real quick. If you have a food processor, you can do this in your food processor. Just to save a little bit of time, I'm going to chop both my herbs up at the same time. Some people will tell you to make sure you pick the leaves off. I just start at the top of the bunch and cut towards the stems. You'll get a little bit of stems in there, but there's still flavor in that. So we got our cilantro and our parsley here, and I'm just going to chop this up really fine. You don't want to do that banging sound because when you start just banging your knife on the cutting board, you're going to dull your blade out, and you can ruin your knife and ruin your cutting board depending on what kind of cutting board you use. So we're chopping everything up here, making sure it all gets chopped up. is why I wish I had one of those little slap chop things so I could just sit there and smack it a few times to chop it up. We got this started a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and add my oregano to it. We need about 8-ish sprigs of oregano. We're just going to pull those leaves right off the oregano. You can tell it's oregano because the it smells good, and then there's a little bit of fur on the stems. It's okay, and there's a little bit on the leaves, but not too much. Kind of like a peach. It's not going to hurt you, but it's not like parsley and cilantro where you can eat the stems. It's good to marinate with, but when you're chopping it up for something like this, you don't really want to eat the stems of the oregano. So we're just finishing pulling these couple of leaves off here. And if you don't have fresh herbs, you can do this with dry, let it marinate, or do its thing together a little longer than you would with the fresh. So that way all the herbs get reconstituted in the olive oil and the vinegar. So we got our oregano done. Now we're just going to finish chopping all this up. This is already starting to smell good. If you got a little herb garden out back or in the windowsill, this is a perfect thing to do with your herbs because you get to use a lot of them, and you can't beat fresh homegrown herbs. So this is looking pretty good. Got a bowl here. We want to add our herbs to the bowl. Now I know there's still a little bit on my cutting board, but it's okay. We'll kind of pick that up whenever we chop up our garlic and our other stuff. So I'm going to give our steak here a nice little flip. And you can see there's some nice grill marks on there. If you want to cook it for about 2 minutes, give it a quarter turn, you get this nice diamond marks that everyone likes. And now we got 3 cloves of garlic. Just going to give it a little smash to each of them. I'll help you peel it. Make sure that whenever you do that, you have your hand or your fingers up so you don't curl underneath the blade and you potentially cut yourself, because that's not a fun thing to do. And blood doesn't really taste well with garlic and herbs. So we got our garlic here. Go on. Throw the skins away. Give these guys a quick chop here. Love fresh garlic. It's going to help keep the vampires away, so we'll be safe. I'm just going to give this a little smush. That's going to kind of help break everything up, and then give it another quick little chop. And if you don't have fresh garlic, you can use, probably about 2 teaspoons of garlic powder in this, and it should be good. We're going to add our garlic in there. Now we're going to chop up a shallot. They're not, excuse me, got a little kickback of the fumes there. So we're going to use the shallot. They're not super popular and stuff. It looks like kind of a baby purple onion. If you can't find them at the store, just use a purple onion. Just use about a quarter of it. And we're going to cut up just like an onion. You're going to cut that stem end off and leave those roots on there. So cut that top of it off. And you can kind of see inside there's 2 onions in there. So we're going to kind of just cut it in half. Peel the outside away, because just like regular onion, we don't want that skin. Peel that way. Alright. We want to peel the other side too. all that skin off there. And our shallot is ready to chop. And we can cut it up just like a normal onion. So we're going to cut with the lines in the shallot, but not through the back of it where the root is. And it kind of spreads apart on you. Just kind of pinch it together and it'll be alright. We're going to give it a little turn and give this a nice little chop here. I'm cutting them kind of small because I like small pieces of this in my chimichurri. And we'll do the same with the other side. Just chopping through the shallot, but not all the way through the roots. And now we'll just dice it up here. Add that to our bowl. I think our steak's about done, so I'm going to kill the heat. I will take it off the stove here. And I'm just going to put this right on my... I might need another minute. So I'm okay with putting it right here on my cutting board. I'm cutting the herbs. That means I'm just getting some more flavor onto the steak. And it's going to be good. We need about 3/4 of a cup of oil. Yep. A splash more. And about 1/4 of a cup of red wine vinegar. I like using the red wine vinegar because you get a little bit of flavor from it as well. Give it some salt. Make sure you close that big side down so that way you don't have it all pouring out. Some pepper. There it is. Whoa! That's what I mean about having it closed if I had it. That's right, we'll take our spoon here and take it to the trash. Kind of scoop out all that extra black pepper. I'm going to give this a quick stir, then I'll taste it, see if I need to re-salt it, because I think I scooped out most of my salt. Yeah, need a little bit of salt in there, and we'll be ready to go. So, you can add a little pressure. That vinegar got me. That's a good one. If you put it with the fattiness of the steak, it'll be great. A little fresh red pepper flake in there. You're all set. So our steak, traditionally I would let it rest a little bit. You want to let it rest about 5 minutes so those juices can kind of reconstitute and go back into stuff. But for the sake of TV, I'm going to go ahead and cut it while we kind of just toast some tortillas there on the grill. I went ahead and turned it off, so they're just going to kind of warm up on there while we do everything. Now the trick to cutting this, the grains of the meat go like this. So it goes the length of the flank steak. If you cut it like that, it's just going to be chewy and not very good. You're going to be like, why did I spend, $15 on a piece of meat that isn't any good? So we're going to cut it against the grain instead of with the grain. And then on top of that, I like to do it at a little bit of an angle, so about 45-degree angle. So I will, we're going to cut it this way, but I'm going to angle my knife a little bit and cut the steak. That way we're making sure to break up all those long muscle strands in there and get a nice tender steak. So this is looking really good, and I can't wait to dive into it. So we got a couple of slices there. Warmed my tortilla on the grill. I got some caramelized onions that I did earlier for something. So I'm going to put a couple of caramelized onions on there. couple pieces of steak. Get a little bit of this chimichurri on there. Again, you want to put a little bit of crushed red pepper flake in here, and it'll be, even better. Get some chimichurri with that nice acid in there. Take a big bite, and then you are set for dinner. Oh. That beats any taco you'll buy in any restaurant. You need to try that. Like I said, let this rest about 10 minutes. That way the juices kind of go back to what they're doing. But you'll love it. So that's an easy flank steak and chimichurri sauce. Tune in next time. We have some more fun ideas for you. We'll see you then.